Well, hello there, folks. WWE Colts fan here with another DVD and Blu Ray update. I've waited quite a while for this one, and I wish I hadn't, because I've got quite the stack here. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but we're going to go through all these. I'm going to start with the DVDs. And first we have, from Warner Brothers, the Steve McQueen 4-film favorites. This is the Warner Brothers Paramount mixed edition. From Warner Brothers we have Bullet and Pat Pillin. I don't know how it's actually pronounced, but it has Dustin Hoffman. And then from Paramount we have The Hunter and Nevada Smith. Now, I mainly bought this for the two Warner Brothers titles. Now, I really hate what Warner Brothers is doing with multiple discs. Just take out Bullet here. And, yeah, they just have them stacked on top of each other. I know it's probably saving them money, but I hate it. Now, this next movie is a Paramount title, but it was reissued by Warner Brothers, featuring Eileen Brennan, Tim Curry, Madeline Kahn, Christopher Lloyd, Michael McKean, Martin Mull, and Leslie Ann Warren in the film adaptation of Clue, based on the Parker Brothers game of the same name. Now, if you've actually seen the movie on TV or theater or whatever, probably more likely on TV, you'll know that there are 3 different endings. All 3 are on here. Now, there is a difference. There's 2 selections. You can either watch the movie with one surprise ending at random, or you can watch the home video version that has all 3 in one cut, which is the one I usually watch because that's the only one I've seen. Yep, Clue. Now, of course, as you know, as my YouTube username, I'm a fan of the Indianapolis Colts. Well, I finally bought the complete history of the Colts on a 2-disc set from Warner Brothers, highlighting from the team's origins in Baltimore all the way up to 2005, before they won the Super Bowl, that one whole season. And it's, as I said, it's a 2-disc set. The first disc is their entire time at Baltimore, and disc 2 highlights, well, Indianapolis, all the way from the beginning. And then it has some special features about certain people or about certain events, like on disc 2, the Monday Night Miracle, where they beat the defending Super Bowl champions. And, sorry, my camera cut out there, but also highlights Jim Mora and a bunch of other stuff. Now, this next DVD is, well, continuing my Mythbusters collection. I have the latest collection set, collection number 10, which features the episodes like Blue Ice, Spy Car 2, and a bunch of others on a 2-disc set. Received this through Walmart via UPS, and, well, that's what happened. But here's the way I view it: the discs weren't damaged, and that's that. At least I can still put them in my DVD towers. Now, the last DVD came as part of a CD set, the Zac Brown Band, The Grawl Sessions. Yeah, the Zac Brown Band has recently teamed up with Dave Grohl, and I really like the stuff that they've done, especially the first song, All Right. And basically, the DVD give some behind the scenes, why they came together, why these certain songs were recorded, and as well as some music videos. Well, that ends the DVDs. Now on to the Blu-rays. Now let's hold that thought real quick. I may have said I was done with the DVDs. Well, I forgot to grab a few things. I had already put them on the shelves. All 4 things are from Paramount. First we have Criminal Minds Season 2. I am now finally caught up in terms of all the seasons, with the exception of Season 9, which comes out June 30th. And in Season 2, you see the addition of Emily Prentiss. And also, what's his name? Oh, Keith Carradine makes an appearance. And there's also an episode that aired after the Super Bowl that year. Super Bowl 41, to be more exact. And then these 3, I'm going to just show together. Seasons 2, 3, and 4 of Dexter. I've only owned Season 1 up to this point. Well, now I have the first 4 seasons. I just really like the show. I just really do. Can't really explain it. And the first one we have is the Tim Burton production of Alice in Wonderland with Johnny Depp. Yet to actually watch this, but I did look at some of the credits back here. Why is it Sony ImageWorks? That's my question. Well, anyway, Tim Burton's take on Alice in Wonderland, which is actually the sequel. I think it's called Through the Looking Glass. Well, anyway, there was a sequel to Alice in Wonderland, the original book. Well, anyway, it's the second book that this movie is actually based off of, because it involves the Red Queen, not the Queen of Hearts. Anyway, it also features Anne Hathaway, Helena Bonham Carter, big shocker there, Crispin Glover, along with the voices of Alan Rickman and Stephen Fry, and so on, so forth. And it's also produced by Richard Zanuck. If you don't know who Richard Zanuck is, look him up. Now, these next 2 movies I'm going to show together because they go together. It's the Alien vs. Predator movies. I figured I'd get them because, well, I got all the Alien movies and most of the Predator movies. I do not have the one that Robert Rodriguez produced. Yeah. I just picked these up, mainly to go with the movies I do have. Yep. Alien vs. Predator. Now, this next movie is released by Paramount. Actually released by Paramount, and it's a brand new Blu Ray release of Steven Spielberg film with Morgan Freeman, Anthony Hopkins, and Matthew McConaughey. It is the movie Amistad, about a young lawyer that has to defend a ship full of slaves that took over a ship. I believe it's called Le Amistad. Well, that's why it's called Amistad. Yeah, this was one of the earlier films that DreamWorks had produced. And this was also produced in association with HBO Pictures, which, with the fact that a lot of Paramount titles are being released by Warner Brothers, which is a Time Warner company, why aren't they releasing this movie, since it is produced by HBO, which is also a Time Warner company? Now here's another couple films I'm going to go ahead and show together. We have Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer with Arnold Schwarzenegger. The original 2 films, not the one that I think was Lionsgate produced with, I forget his name. Yeah, it slips me right now. But anyway, it's, you know, one of those 80s action sci-fi movies. Well, both of them are, really. Yep. This next movie, I haven't heard too much about it. It's from Ridley Scott with Michael Fassbender and Cameron Diaz and Brad Pitt, The Counselor. All I know is about the main plot. You know, it's about Michael Fassbender's character. He's a lawyer, and he works for the mob. And, yeah, a lot of things don't go as planned. Next, from 20th Century Fox, we have the Own the Moments set. Actually, I've got another one in here as well. But anyway, this one is Date Night with Steve Carell, Tina Fey, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. I really picked it up for this one for some reason. Just wanted to check this one out. Next is the famous Coen Brothers film Fargo, a homespun murder story about Frances McDormand, who is a pregnant police chief who has to investigate this murder, and also there's a kidnapping involved, and yeah. And I think, if I'm right, FX is producing a TV show version, which I don't know how they're going to turn that into a TV show. Well, they found a way. Alright, this next movie from Warner Brothers is the remake of the Michael Caine film, which this also has Michael Caine in it, but this one stars Sylvester Stallone, Get Carter, where he plays a enforcer. Anyway, he returns home to find out his brother's been murdered, and he goes looking for his brother's killers. Okay, this next one I have finally added to my Criterion collection. And just so you know, I have, well, of course, if you remember, I have the 1998 movie. And yes, I have seen the new one, which is awesome. Godzilla. Or if you go by the Japanese version, it's Gojira. I'm going to put this camera down to get it out of the case. Hold on. Alright, got it out of the case, and if you can see that there's a picture of Godzilla here, and it opens up. There's the book with its essays about the reason why this movie was made. And then here's the Blu Ray, and you open it up. Oh, look, it's a pop-up. Yeah, I went on a little Godzilla craze, and I'm not really planning to pick up the other movies, just this one. Now, this does include the two versions of the film. There is the original Gojira, and then a couple years later there was a reworking of the original movie called Godzilla King of the Monsters. 1956, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Yeah, it has both movies on here, which that's pretty cool. Yeah, Godzilla. Next, exclusively at Walmart for $10, they have reissued several MGM titles. Yeah, it's MGM only, of several movies, and well, I got a few of them. First one is The Great Escape with Steve McQueen, James Garner. Now what they've done is, it comes with these little cards. And I believe, as well as my brother, he points out that they may have been part of the Comic-Con exclusive. But all it is this little card that comes with the package. And what I did was I just slipped it right in front to make it the new cover. Other than that, it's the same thing as the regular release. And the same thing goes for this Clint Eastwood title, Hang 'em High, where he plays a U.S. Marshal that was almost killed. Yep. Gotta love me some Clint Eastwood. Yeah, that was a bad impersonation. You feel lucky, punk. This next movie, from Warner Brothers, directed by Spike Jonze, Academy Award winner for Best Original Screenplay. We have Her, in which Joaquin Phoenix plays a lonely man who gets a new operating system that, programs itself to fit the person's needs, and it even interacts with them. And it has a voice, and this voice is by Scarlett Johansson. Now this next one is just like Hang 'em High and The Great Escape. We have the basketball classic film with Gene Hackman, Hoosiers. Come on, I had to pick this up. I had to. I'm from Indiana. I live in Indiana. Come on. Yeah, everyone knows the story about this movie, based off a true story. Now the names of the teams are different. The original teams were Milan. I forget what their actual team name was, but it was Milan High School, which is still around, and Muncie Central. In the movie, it's Hickory and South Bend in the title game. But it's still a very fun movie to watch. Directed by David Anspaugh. I hope I'm saying his name right. Who is actually from Indiana. And he also directed the movie Rudy, which is another state sports movie. Alright, next is one of a couple movies I got from the Movies You Buy bin at my local Alco store. From Anchor Bay Entertainment, we have Law Abiding Citizen with Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx. About Gerard Butler's character. He's making everybody involved in this trial pay for what they didn't do. That includes the judge and the lawyer, played by Jamie Foxx. And that it's up to Jamie Foxx to stop him. Now, also from Anchor Bay has recently reissued a bunch of movies. Mostly Weinstein Company titles. Actually, I think that's pretty much what they all are. And I did pick up one of them. The others either I have already or just didn't want. Well, anyway, I picked up Lawless with Shia LaBeouf and Tom Hardy, along with Jessica Chastain and Gary Oldman. Yeah, this movie was originally released right before The Dark Knight Rises. Yep. Based on a true story. This next movie, I shown it to you in an earlier video because I pre-ordered it. Well, it came in the mail. We have Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg, Eric Bana, and Ben Foster, based on a real op that went very, very bad for some Navy SEALs, directed by Peter Berg. This next movie, I've said to myself, I'm going to get this movie. I'm going to get this movie. I said this to myself for months. Finally, a few weeks ago, I did order it online. And, well, it's a Chuck Norris movie. Before he was Walker, Texas Ranger, he was Lone Wolf McQuaid. Yeah, with David Carradine. In this movie, Chuck Norris plays a Texas Ranger that has to go, I think, into Mexico to save his daughter, who's being held captive by David Carradine. Yeah, it's one of those movies in the 80s that Chuck Norris did. Yep. Lone Wolf McQuade. Alright, this next movie is a Kevin Smith film. This is the first Kevin Smith film I've owned from Universal, part of their Best of the Decades. We have Mallrats with Jason Lee, about Jason Lee's character and his best friend who go to the mall after they've been dumped by their girlfriends, and then they try to win them back with the help of Jay and Silent Bob. Yeah, I figured I'd pick it up. I think you can find it for like $10. Yeah, Mallrats. This next one from the movie by Ben, we have Morning Glory with Harrison Ford, about this young producer who takes over like a Today Show, like a morning show, and basically she has a hard time getting the co-anchors to work together. Alright, these next two, as I said, I had another On the Moments set in here. It's the Baz Luhrmann set, Moulin Rouge and Romeo and Juliet. I've seen both these movies. Well, I haven't seen this one all the way through, but I have seen this one. Actually, I kind of liked it. Yep, there's another. I think I got this at Target for $10. Yeah. Of course, the story is about this Romeo and Juliet. It's a more modern telling. Instead of swords and knives, they use guns. Yeah, guns. Now this one is also from the, I think it's from the Best of the Decades collection. Well, anyway, National Lampoon's Animal House. I don't know why I've never owned this movie until now. Yeah, the movie starring John Belushi about this frat house. Directed by John Landis and written by the late Harold Ramis. Yeah. Animal House. Toga, toga, toga. Now here's a movie that I know my brother's looking for, but I beat him to it. Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone. About this truck driver who has a estranged relationship with his young son, but also he drives around to these competitions, arm wrestling competitions more specifically. In a way, if you put this along with Rocky and throw in Rock'em Sock'em Robots, you get the well, not Disney, but the DreamWorks Touchstone movie with Hugh Jackman, Real Steel. Which, by the way, that is a good movie. Alright, I have another MGM title from Walmart. Oliver Stone's Platoon with Charlie Sheen and Willem Dafoe. Yeah, is a Vietnam era movie. Yeah, this was originally an Orion Pictures release, but of course, when Orion Pictures went belly up, MGM acquired all the rights, and this is the 25th anniversary edition. Yet to check it out. This next movie is released by a company called Olive Films, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let's see who else is in this. Richard Dawson, who was the host of Family Feud for many years, and Jesse Ventura. We have The Running Man, where Schwarzenegger plays an inmate who competes on this TV show. And on this, it's like they have to defeat what they call stalkers. One of them played by Jesse Ventura. And if they win this battle, they get set free. They lose, they die. And this movie was directed by Paul Michael Glaser. Yeah, well, it was another 80s action Arnold film. Yep, The Running Man. Next is the Ron Howard movie based on a true story. It's Rush with Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, I decided to pick it up because I thought it looked alright. And it also has Olivia Wilde in it as well. Yep, based on these two drivers in the Formula One series that had this big-time rivalry, and let's just say they almost killed each other, literally. One of them wound up with severe burns, and yeah. This next movie is from Warner Brothers. This is the Target exclusive steelbook, The Son of Batman. Yeah, Batman has a son, and he's also the son of Talia al Ghul. It has Jason O'Mara, who's on the show Life on Mars on ABC. He plays Batman, and Thomas Gibson as Deathstroke. I thought it was an okay direct-home video movie. It also includes Man-Bat and Nightwing. Now this next one, if I held off making this video just a few days, I would have this video in this movie in the collection, but I'll just go ahead and show the pre-purchase package of Son of God from Walmart, which this will come with a picture book. Basically, it's going to be a digibook. Yep. Has the cast from the Bible miniseries, produced by Mark Burnett and Roma Downey. I didn't actually go see it in the theaters, but my brother and parents did. And they said they really, really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to watching it. And I'm waiting for God's Not Dead to come out. I'm really wanting to see that one as well. Okay, I got a few more Stallone movies to show you. This first two, The Specialist and Tango and Cash 2-pack from Walmart for $7.88. The Specialist with also has Sharon Stone, and Tango and Cash has Kurt Russell in it. Of course, both come on their own separate discs. Never really heard of The Specialist, but I have seen Tango and Cash, about these two rival cops in the same city, one in the better neighborhood, one in the lower end, I'm going to say. They both get wrongfully convicted of a crime they did not commit and sent to prison, and they must prove their innocence. Now this one, well, these three from Lionsgate, it's the Stallone Collector's Set with Rambo First Blood, which I am double dipping on that because I do have the Rambo set, but I did not have Copland and Lockup, which in Copland, which is actually originally a Miramax film. Here's Lockup, which has Donald Sutherland and I'll get back to that one. But anyway, Copland has a all-star cast as Robert De Niro, Harvey Keitel, Ray Liotta, trying to think who else. Robert Patrick, T-1000 from Terminator 2. And Copland was also directed by James Mangold, most notably from Walk the Line and 3:10 to Yuma remake. Oh, and also he did the Wolverine. And, well, in this one, Stallone plays a sheriff that has to solve this murder, and involves dirty cops. Yeah. And, of course, Rambo, First Blood, yeah. Everyone knows that one. And then Lockup, where Stallone's sent to prison, and he has to deal with the warden, played by Donald Sutherland, who is, well, dirty. Instead of dirty cop, he's a dirty warden. This next one, from Universal, we have the John Hughes film Uncle Buck with John Candy and Macaulay Culkin, and Fletch with Chevy Chase. Yeah, I picked it up because I know Uncle Buck, a lot of people like that one. And of course as I said, it stars John Candy, who plays, well, he's Uncle Buck, and he has to take care of his niece and nephew when the parents go away. And then Fletch stars Chevy Chase as an investigative reporter who changes his identity constantly, and he stumbles upon like a murder and police corruption. Anyway, yeah, Uncle Buck and Fletch. Alright, this next one, of course, just like the Colts, so I'm also a fan of World Wrestling Entertainment. I have WrestleMania 30. The streak is over. Brock Lesnar ended the streak. Overall, it's what you'd expect. The good guy, the one that everyone cheers for, does walk out with the titles. First, he had to beat Triple H, and then that allowed him to be in the triple threat match with Batista and Randy Orton. Overall, I liked it. Oh, and I must point out that it does include the Hall of Fame ceremony, which happens the night before, in which they induct, well, if I can turn the disc around, Carlos Colon, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, Jake the Snake Roberts, Paul Bearer, celebrity inductee Mr. T, Lita, and the Ultimate Warrior. And just to think, a few short days later, he would actually pass away. Yeah. A lot of folks were shocked to see that. And then finally, reissued by Warner Brothers, it's the Paramount movie based on real events, Zodiac, with Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., Anthony Edwards. Directed by David Fincher. About, of course, as I said, this is about the investigation. Well, I haven't said this yet, but it's about the investigation from the police and the newspaper reporters about the Zodiac killer. Yep. Well, anyway, that does it for me. Until the next update video. See you later.